what about storytelling? What's the role that storytelling plays in this? Why is it such a crucial skill, especially when it comes to business and business books? Because these are subjects that you would normally think rely on facts and logic, not emotion and feeling and presenting the real you.
Yeah. So, as you know, I've been teaching business leaders storytelling for almost 15 years now, and it's become really popular, which is great, which is great because more and more people are learning the power of sharing stories in business. The reason it's so powerful is because when we share stories and personal stories, so I'm not talking about business-related or case studies, but when we share personal stories, when we share a bit about who we are, when we show a little bit of vulnerability or emotion, again, people connect with that. And it actually can not only fast-track trust in relationships, but can actually really strengthen relationships. So I had a beautiful message from someone the other day who said one of the people that read my book had shared a personal story around work-life balance, and he was seen as a very hard-nosed leader, not human, but he shared his story about his struggles with work-life balance where his marriage nearly failed, and his wife called him on it. And anyway, he went through the story, and he said afterwards that he could not believe how many people came up to him and said, "Thank you for that, sharing this story," and then shared with him all the struggles that they're facing with work-life balance. So it's almost with that one story, it really got his message across, and it made it totally acceptable now to talk about when you're struggling at work. But it almost completely changed his image from being this tough, hard ass to, someone prepared to talk about their marriage failing or nearly failing.
Yeah. Oh, how do you think that applies to writing as well? Because the one thing I do love about you, obviously, and your books is you're super, super, super strong on the storytelling angle, and you're always sharing stories as a process of writing your book. So your book is a compelling story from start to finish. Why do you think that's really important in books, in, say, business books?
Yeah, I think if you're writing a business book, it's still coming from you, so it's still your thoughts and your opinions and your insights, that stories should naturally form part of that. And in business books, the stories tend to be case studies, so it's about stuff that's happened, which is all still relevant. A lot of my books still hold case studies of companies doing this or leaders doing this. But I think as an author, there's a real opportunity to share some of who you are personally. So, yeah, in my books, I will share stories about my kids, about my husband, but it's still getting the business message across. So you don't want it to just be random stories about, look at my life, how boring or whatever it is, but they've got to have a business message. And I know, and you can do that in your books and you can do that in your writing. I know for a fact that when I write a post or a LinkedIn article, if it's a personal story to get the business message across, they're the ones that get the most traction and the most feedback and response I get from my database when I include a personal story, because people are interested in that.